What's going on, y'all? We've been busy. I've been doing some stuff for Fantasy Fest. It's kicked off with Goombay. Generally, I do a lot of projects and stuff like that during these Fantasy Fest, but this time, just because of the nature of it all, the Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, I'm not into this political stuff. And to tell you the truth, if you want to be a follower, of Christ, you have to actually detach from these things. You can't be looking at either one of these shit sandwiches as being the better one and participating in the system. When I was working on this project, we introduced a king and queen during this particular part of the season, pretty much the same way that New Orleans does theirs, except this is for AIDS help and they raise money. This is one of their biggest fundraisers during the year. And the king and queens, in order to become the king and queen, have to raise the most money. And, they raised thousands and thousands of dollars. It's just amazing how much they've done. But this year, having that it was hocus pocus and ballot box things and this and that, they're inviting all these people to our town. That in every other place where they rally, they fight and all that. So, I'm going to go and find something else to do during that time. But, well, anyways, I don't know why. I wanted to talk about something. I can't remember what it was about now. I was out karaokeing. This is late. I'm trying to get something in early. Damn, I can't remember what it was. And I did have an idea. See, tomorrow we're doing this run. It's called the zombie bicycle ride or something like that. And so I got a zombie baby that a friend asked me to do. Don't think anything down. Oh, hell, it helped me remember. You know what it means? Do you know mystically what it means to hand your child over to BAAL? This idea of this entity that devours children. I think that's what I'm talking about. It was what I'm talking about because this is the spiritual side of you. It's the feminine energy that actually becomes what is devoured and what is abused most of the time. And you can see that now when we talk about having the single eye being, literally, attacked by religious and other people. That's the child in us. If you kill the feminine energy, you lose the ability to have that virgin conscious that gives birth to the child. And so, in the end days, when they say that men are going to be lovers of men, they don't mean, literally, that fags are going to come over, but they're using that against you. Remember, they're even going to put little devices in your hand and make it a mark of Listen, what society would have known so many thousand years in advance the precursors to a antichrist system, complete with what's coming, as far as like prophecies and things are concerned, and then turn around and bring all those things to life and scare the fuck out of those people that are believing it. So, it's in times where it's plagiarism. It's the idea that this is a story. They're bringing the story alive, and it's mythology, but they did it on purpose. Somehow, it's what we call the Stockholm Effect, that once that you have been, once you've been under, bam, you're going to believe anything now. You honestly will. You have to put your hand on the Bible and believe in everything, for thousands of years. hundreds. Let's just say for centuries, and if you didn't, you were not allowed to fit into the system. It's just the way it is. You know, you got to believe you're from the monkeys. You got to believe that we went to moon. You got to believe all this stuff, or you are from another world. You know, well, with this Mandela effect, yeah, we're from another world. And do I have to believe any of this stuff now? No, it doesn't matter. Plus, my age and my talent and my knowledge has set me free. But I want to tell you, when it comes down to, in the old days, they literally did have some place where they took their babies and sacrificed their children. That's how you take something that was mystical and take it at face value. You take these dark sayings. All they're saying is that you're giving away yourself. When you have to give yourself to a preacher, you're selling your crown. You're giving it away. You're selling it. They call it. You're selling it. You know. But you don't know any better. You don't know. You've let these people for centuries tell you what to do. Giving up your own mind for it. Giving up your own mind for it. There's your child. There's your child. The child is you. When the story where someone, what is that? David and Goliath. What you're supposed to notice in the story, you know, besides that he was being, you know, that Goliath was called out in cubits. He was 9 feet tall in his story. So 9 is a number of consciousness. But this was the bad side of consciousness. It was larger than him. And of course, David represents the smaller side. So you got to think about a little guy and a giant. The odds against sending a child out to fight the bigger guy is like astronomical. But that's the whole point of the story, is letting the child within you rise to the occasion, and he will eventually, with the help of the higher conscious, kill this lower conscious, no matter how big a monster it's turned into being. How simple can that be? You know, how much harder do we have to, how much more complicated do we have to make that in order to not understand it? So I'm not going to talk for very long. I told you I can't make it very much out here. And I've caught a little buzz. I'm just coming from karaoke and stuff. You can't take these devils and everything serious. I'm sure I don't know. Perhaps these guys can manifest. We can't manifest God except through us. And through us, we bring God. But God you can't see. It's like some kind of ethereal energy of some kind. It's sunshine, it's light, it's photon, it's energy, it's beautiful. The other side is flesh, so you know, God knows what can come out of, you know, when people want to bring a fleshy thing alive. You know, so just know that God is in you, the kingdom of the Lord is in you, and that includes hell. And, you know, if you want to be the asshole, be the asshole. The point is just trying to be brighter, trying to toss our nets over to the right side to be a better person. But the idea is just that, you know, you get a choice in that. And in order to keep the world go round and stuff, you know that we're in the end of times when things are a little less, you know, light coming to us. And that's why little information is like, from me, is like coming in, trickling in. You know, I only got 12, 14 people listening to me, so you see who no one cares. It's the least of everything. And, you know, and as long as it's like that, I believe it, you know. When I work at a church, you know, it was only like, you know, and I still do stuff for it, but I call it working for the devil. But, and I make them pay me. yeah, the way it works is that, there's always like 10% of the entire congregation or the group. It can surpass church and stuff like that. But let's say you have 40 people come into church on a regular basis. That's 4 people doing all the work for all these guys. That's the people in the admin and this and that, and the guys who are ordering all the shit to keep the candles working, and who's sweeping and mopping and taking all the dust and crap like that. That's that small percentage of people that are doing that. So you have to understand that on a bigger scape of things, that that those people that are doing the work for the Lord, whichever way you want to really think about it, they're the smaller people. And when you think about those people that are really large, doing the word for the Lord, oh my God, that it's not really serving the Lord, but I'm not even sure what to even think about that. But it goes to show that it's really rigged against us. It's really rigged against those people that want. And that's why it's less path, less everything. So, enjoy it, and know that it's still God's plan, whichever side you fall on. So, be the best of whatever it is that you find that you want to do. I was probably known as being really mean and ornery, the most destructive kid at one time in my life. And now I'm one of the most loved and most creative people in my time, in my life and stuff. And so it's little cycles that would come back and forth. So nothing to hold on to, But to get back to the whole idea of this child thing, the child is in you. It's not a new age thing to nurture the child in you. It's new age to think, oh, I'm going to nurture the child inside of me, but you have to birth him first. Otherwise, it's just more lip service. You understand? And you are really just pampering the outside of you when it has nothing to do with that. Just go in, connect. Bring this life, this energy into your life, and then, and you're not going to be talking about who's nurturing your child. That's, you're not going to be doing that. You just can't. Yeah, because that's emotional, and that's wrong. So anyways, it's something you do in private and do it to yourself, and I love you, and best to you, and I'll chat with you soon. I'll chat with you back as soon as possible. Bye.